Hey, this is Steven from Steven's Classic Garage. So I wanted to do a follow-up video compared to my update video yesterday on 5/31/19 or 5/30/19, something like that. So today is 6/1/19. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the leaps forward I've done on cutting, buffing, and some of the new products that I have that help me get to that point. So now we're kind of branching out as far as machines. Turns out that my dad had one old school machine that we've been using. So number one old school machine is my dad has this Craftsman rotary buffer that's about a 1 horsepower. And then so that guy is rotary again, so it just rotates. It doesn't move because it's not a dual action, it's just a rotating. The other one is my dad happened to have this really nice DA. It's an old school Porter cable, extremely heavy. This guy's about a I think it is like a 700 watt. Yeah, it's about a 700 watt. It's about a 500 watt. I think it's about a 500 watt. So it's about a 3/4 horsepower. And then I have the yellow Hexalogic on it right now. So that guy's a really nice DA. And then on the back, it's got the tunable speeds from 1 to 6, and it'll do 1800 to 2500 to 6000 OPM, orbits per minute, and that's a DA, so it orbits as well as rotates. And it has a wire, so it doesn't beat the crap out of my compressor like the palm sander, the 6-inch palm sander from Harbor Freight. So this guy originally had the peel and stick, or the adhesive backed for sandpaper. So we took that off, and we just had one come in from Amazon for a new backing plate that's hook and loop. So now we put the hook and loop pad on there, and now it will run all our other stuff. So we had the polisher, and now we have the DA. And then we have some new stuff for the DA. We have some Meguiar's detailer pads, the microfiber. So we have the finishing disc, and we have the cutting discs. These are really good price. They're 2 for $20, so each one's about $11, which are even cheaper than these Hexalogic pads. So these are pretty much a go for it pad, and they're super good quality, made in the USA, and you can get them on Amazon direct. If you have Prime, you get them next day. We actually ordered them last night and got them today about 7 o'clock. So here's the back. So this is a finishing pad, and the difference between, again, there's 2 finishing pads, 2 cutting pads, and the difference between the finishing pad and the cutting pad is the foam that's on it. Let me flip these so they're the same direction. So you can see that this one, the cutting pad, has a way smaller foam than the finishing pad. So one would be for a more aggressive cutting, obviously the other one would be for finishing, such as polish or whatever. And then this is really nice and soft microfiber, and microfiber increases the friction, so you cut through way easier than on these foam pads. These foam pads are for slightly less imperfection removal. This is for heavy duty imperfection removal on the DA, but you still have control on the DA. And then the buffer is for super heavy removal, and that's a really old buffer. That's actually what we used on this panel right now, but in actuality, I would probably use this guy as with this DA, as you have way more control. Tomorrow I have a wool pad coming in for this guy, for the DA, so we'll also run the wool pad and see if we can get a little bit quicker removal of material using the rubbing compound. This guy you get good removal, but it still takes a while. You might need to get a little more aggressive on it. So let's go ahead and talk about the compounds that we're using. So my dad also we're starting to run a little bit low on compound. We're not quite gone yet, but we wanted to try different things on this panel to see if we could get, we had those issues with some of those marks. So we got some Perfected Stage 1 rubbing compound, which is really good from 3M. And we also got some machine polish here. So this is our current setup. We have step 1, which is rubbing compound. Step 2, which is machine polish. Step 3 is a swirl remover. And step 4 is a glaze to go over top. So we have a 4-step process, but we have super whole bunch of pads. So for sanding, we have 1000 grit. We have a few. We have one new expansion to it. to our grit range here. So we have 1000 on the DA, no pad on it, it's a film. And then we have we have this new guy, which is a 2000 from 3M. So this is both Smart brand, which is a Finish Masters brand. So we have 1000, 2000, and the 2000 I have a pad over there back at the table. That guy is just a no foam pad or anything like that. And then we have the 3000, which is got the interface pad. So let's go and look at this 2000. So here's the 2000. It's sitting on the interface pad that from 3M. So 3M film is pretty nice on an interface pad. Seems to do the job. And yeah, you saw 3000 over there, and 1000 is just it's very similar to that, but it's, you know, it's oh, here it is. Here's the 1000. Here's the 1000 disc. It's all crinkled up. Anyways, so basically the process now with the DA is we have rubbing compound. So right now we're running rubbing compound. We did some tests on this guy. This again is hook and loop. Everything here is hook and loop except for that wool pad over there. So we ran rubbing compound on the cutting disc, machine polish on the finishing disc, and then we did the swirl remover on the yellow Hexalogic. Remember, we have a whole bunch of the Hexalogic. And then we do the glaze. Glaze, you can pretty much do any down further, any one. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it's kind of like a wax. There's no cutting. As far as I know, there's no cutting material in here. But maybe you go with a slightly less cut. So let's say here you go to Meguiar's and you get like a 1 cut. Then you would use the 1 cut on the orange pad. And then you would use this guy on the white. And then you would use wax on the black, which the black is pretty much close to the bottom, which for spreading sealant or wax fast and easy, so I would use that on the black to spread wax, or get a red one. So that's kind of the step that I would do. I would probably add another intermediary step. I'm thinking another intermediary step between the polish and the swirl remover, but I think this is okay, because this again is for removing rotary. So this is basically, especially for a cleaner polish, removes most swirl marks and creates a brilliant high gloss. I think this is okay to go from the rubbing compound to the polish to the swirl remover, then to the glaze. Later on, run a sealant wax combo from Chemical Guys or some other guys. That will be, obviously that would be like a few weeks or a month after you paint the panel. It depends. I'll have to look into that more. So again, this is what I'm thinking right now. This is how I'm running it. The rubbing compound, cutting disc, polish, finish pad. Then it goes to the yellow, which is a swirl remover. Then glaze is anything else bottom down, and then wax on either the yellow or the black. But I'm probably going to add something after the swirl remover, something that's got like a 1 cut, and then do it on the orange. So yellow, remember, is a heavier cut than orange. So yellow is swirl remover, orange is the whatever I find that's a 1 cut from Meguiar's or somebody, and then you know, sealant or wax or whatever with the orange black pad there. So that's pretty much what I got right now. So let's go ahead and look at the panel. So I did do one boo-boo, which is with the 3000 grit over there with the pad, is I rubbed through here. Now obviously I talked about the 3000. I'm not super happy with that 3000 from Smart, especially how expensive it is for only 10 pads. But you could see here I took the interface pad off and I just used that small little thin pad, and I rubbed right through into the metal right there, if you guys could see that. So and then you can see a few pock marks from some orange peel. So I'm trying to decide whether or not this is just a test panel or not, which it probably will be. But you can see I'm getting some really good brilliance here, and there's bugs crawling all over it. But I am getting, let's see if we could get close in here. I mean, basically at this point you can't see it, but there's still some little scratches here and there. I mean, you can kind of see it when we see that wire. See the wire draping over the light? It's kind of wobbling. But a big issue that I'm having with this that's keeping me from just living with that little spot is that if you notice that when I move back and forth, I have this, especially right here. So if you look at this vertical light, see how it's like wobbling, especially at the top. See how it's just like wobbling back and forth, kind of going in and out, in and out. So this is like weird orange. It's almost like orange peel. It's literally like I almost didn't sand out the orange peel, and there's like this wobbliness to it, and it's all the way across the panel. It's pretty much even. So what I'm thinking is that that might be from that there's a lot of orange peel with the paint underneath, and then now you're actually seeing the high spots as you look through the clear on that. So I'm gonna figure out more things with this, but this is definitely a step forward in the right direction. As you remember, I had a lot of struggle getting rid of the haze with it, but now I've done so. Obviously this is with the rotary, so we have a wool pad coming in tomorrow for the DA, for the Porter cable. So we'll try that, and we'll definitely get a lot better cut and more control over the rotary. So then we'll move everything forward. The wool will be cutting, and then this guy polish. This guy would be swirl remover, and then that guy would be whatever I get after swirl remover, and then sealer, and then probably sealer just run with the black. Probably don't even use orange.